If you've been looking for a dehumidifier for a basement, crawl space, or pretty much any other area of your house, you've probably already noticed there are a lot of units out there that claim to do basically the same thing. Aeocky just sent me both of these units to test so we could figure out what the differences really are. I can already tell you I like the way that I empty this one better. Having that handle is pretty convenient to carry it and that corner spout to dump it out. Right here I have the Aeocky 80-Pint Dehumidifier. It's rated for up to 5,500 square feet. And over here we have the KNKA, also 80 pints, also rated for up to 5,500 square feet. Both of these are compressor dehumidifiers, both have continuous drainage, both have automatic humidity control, and both claim to remove up to 80 pints of water per day under specific test conditions. Since the specifications are so similar, I'm just going to run these two units in the same room side by side to see how they actually perform. We'll check the noise readings, humidity levels, controls, and see how much water each one collects. Now, I already ran one test. Yesterday, I turned them both on sitting right here at about 10:30 in the morning. And when my wife got up this morning at about 4:30, the Aeocky had already collected all the water that it could and was shut off. Well, the KNKA was still working at it. So I know that this one collects water faster, but they both hold the same amount. So now what I'm gonna do is run them both side by side under the same conditions just like I did yesterday, and I'm gonna show you how much water each one collects in about 2 hours. Now, before we start, I wanna establish our starting conditions. Both machines are sitting in the same room under the same conditions, and I'm gonna start them both at the same time. Right now, the room temperature in my house is 74 degrees, and the relative humidity is 49%. I'm gonna use this weather station's indoor sensor as my reference to see how closely the readings on the machines compare to this measurement. I don't really know if that's scientific or not, but I do think we can reasonably assume if one is closer than the other one, that it's probably a bit more accurate. And using this should give us a pretty fair starting point. Before we get started, there's one thing I want to point out. Both these units are rated at 80 pints per day. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to collect 80 pints of water per day in your house. That rating comes from specific test conditions that include a certain temperature and humidity. So in real world use, the amount of water they collect is going to depend on the conditions they're operating in, which is why it's so important to operate them side by side in the same conditions like I'm doing here. Let's start with the Aeocky. One of the biggest things that separates this machine from the KNKA on paper is its Energy Star designation. The Aeocky is listed as Energy Star Most Efficient 2025. The KNKA is Energy Star Certified. Those aren't exactly the same designation. Energy Star certification means a product meets the program's efficiency requirement. Energy Star Most Efficient is a higher recognition for products that meet the program's more demanding efficiency criteria for that year. So if energy efficiency is one of your priorities, that's an advantage for Aeocky, at least on paper. The Aeocky also emphasizes low temperature operation, which could be particularly useful for someone using this dehumidifier in a cooler basement or a crawl space. It does have automatic humidity control, multiple fan speeds, a child lock, a timer, power loss memory, and it comes with a drain hose for continuous drainage. We're not going to be using that today, but it does have one. The tank holds 1.45 gallons. Now let's look at the KNKA. It's also rated at 80 pints per day at 5,500 square feet. The KNKA is Energy Star certified, and it has an automatic humidity control with selectable range from 30 to 80% relative humidity. It also has an auto mode, a dry mode, and a sleep mode. The display shows the current humidity. It also has a 1.45 internal tank, and it also includes a drain hose for continuous drainage. Like I said, we're not using that today, but it is included with this one as well. One interesting feature of this KNKA is it also offers an optional external tank, which could be useful if you don't have a convenient place to run that drain hose, but it's not included, so that's an additional purchase. It also has a washable, reusable filter, a child lock, timer. Before we turn them on, let's take a look at the physical size really quickly. The Aeocky is a little taller and wider. The KNKA is a little shorter and more compact. Neither one of them is very hard to move around because of the casters. I would say the Aeocky is slightly heavier than the KNKA, but it's not enough to be significant. As far as controls go, they both have touch screens. This is the Aeoky's. It's got a child lock. It's got a light that you can change the brightness of or turn it off completely if you want to. You've got the fan speed, the timer, gonna show you your humidity level, although keep in mind that's moving down as it senses it. So I just turned it on. It will level out at what it actually believes it is here in just a few minutes. And of course, you've got the up and down for adjusting the humidity. I'm gonna set this at 40 because that's what I wanna set both of them at. And you have the different modes that you can move. Here's the KNKA, it's very similar. There's your power button right here. You've got your humidity level, your different settings that you can change it to. All you would do here is hit mode and you can change it to the different modes. You got your auto, your dry, and your particular humidity level, which we're setting also at 40. You've also got a sleep mode, your child lock, your light as well that you can change, turning it on and off, and of course your power button. As far as noise level goes, they are both making pretty similar claims. One is claiming that it has a noise level of 44 decibels, and the other is claiming that it has a noise level of between 40 and 45 decibels, which 44 is between 40 and 45. So very similar with both of them. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna set my microphone 6 feet away from each one of them and let you hear exactly what they sound turned on by themselves with no editing to the audio at all. I hope you can still hear me. My microphone is actually on the stand that's holding the camera 6 feet away. And first thing I'm gonna do is turn on the Aeocky and let you hear it for a few seconds. So what you're hearing is exactly how it sounds from approximately 6 feet away. It's pretty quiet. I can hear it, I don't know if you can, but it's not very loud. Now let's turn on the KNKA just to give you an idea of how loud it is. I don't really know if you can hear a difference, but I can definitely tell a slight difference. From where I stand, this one is slightly louder than this one. Neither one is loud though. All right, let's get this test started. I just went back upstairs, checked the temperature and humidity again. We're at 74 degrees at 48% humidity. Let's turn them on. We'll come back in 2 hours and I'll see how much water each one of them collected. Turning the KNKA on, have setting down. We're at 40. That's where we're gonna leave it. For the Aeocky, we're also set at 40 and that's where we're gonna leave it. And after roughly 5 minutes, the humidity reading on this unit, the Aeocky, is 48%. And on the KNKA, it is also at 48%, which tells us that both units are accurately reading the humidity in the air. Another thing that tells us is that neither one is artificially working harder based on an inaccurate humidity reading. The humidity level on both of these units is reading exactly the same as my indoor monitor for my weather station. Right now it's about 11 a.m. We'll come back about 1 p.m. and check to see how much water each unit has collected. I just checked the weather station monitor upstairs and the temperature was 75 degrees and the relative humidity was 47% reading up there. Down here we have 45% on the Aeocky and 45% on the KNKA. So they are both reading the same as each other, and that does make sense because they are down here and that is up there, so the difference in humidity is probably accurate. So let's turn them off and see exactly how much water we gathered from each one in 2.5 hours, or close to it. And yes, of course I have a super scientific way to measure how much water each one gathered. Now I'm gonna start with the KNKA. And the reason I'm starting with this one is because I know it had to run longer last night to fill up, so it's reasonable to assume it didn't collect as much water in the same amount of time. However, we won't know that for sure until we check. So we're gonna take the water from the KNKA and pour it into the pitcher here, making sure that all of it goes in the pitcher and not on the counter, because that, I just lost a little bit. I even gave it the droplets off the counter. It was like 3 drops. So forgive me. Okay, let's see. KNKA level. Right about there. All right, so you can see where we ended up. We're gonna pour this out and then we're gonna go fill this up with the Aeocky and see whether we're below or above that line or right on it. And now for the moment of truth. One thing I love about this one, the handle. All right, there's our mark. Here is Aeocky's water. Let's just pour it in and see what we get. Look, I know I spilled a couple drops of water from the other one on the counter, but it wasn't anywhere near that much. That is almost twice the water volume collected in around the same amount of time. That's a significant difference. All right, I'm done testing, and to be objective, they're both good dehumidifiers. But from a performance standpoint, there really is a clear winner, and it's the Aeocky. It's just undisputable that it collected more water under the same conditions in the same amount of time. If you're strictly looking for performance, the Aeocky is the clear winner. If you're looking for a little more compact unit, then the KNKA might be right for you. I'll link them both down below in the description. Those are affiliate links. They help me out at no extra cost to you. I really appreciate your support when you use those. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.